Welcome back to the show, everyone.
Thanks for joining us today.
So you're deep in the world of NEET counseling, and you're probably thinking your final score is everything, right? Well, what if I told you there's something that can be even more powerful than your rank? The crazy thing is, probably 90% of students and parents just don't realize the full range of advantages that are out there for the taking.
So if you're stressing about your score, or maybe you're planning for the exam in the next couple of years, I want you to really think about this one critical question.
Yep, you heard that right. Your category. Using the right category or quota can totally change the game. It can maximize your chances of locking in a confirmed MBBS seat, sometimes in amazing colleges with super low fees, even if your marks aren't quite what you were hoping for.
Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we'll put rank and quota head-to-head. Then we'll cover the big reservations everyone knows about. After that, we'll uncover some seriously powerful minority and group quotas. Then we'll get into the super specific state quotas, and finally, we'll look at how this all plays out in the real world, state by state.
Let's really break this down. Think about it. Your rank tells you where you are in a massive, massive crowd of students. But your quota, that puts you on a much smaller, way more specific race. Knowing how to use that special category is the secret key to getting into government, semi-government, and those low-fee private colleges. It's all about working smarter, not just grinding for a higher score.
All right, let's kick things off with the categories that most people are pretty familiar with. These are the big national-level reservations that really form the foundation of the whole counseling process, and they apply to medical colleges all across India.
So this chart right here gives you a really clear snapshot of the playing field. In government colleges, more than half the seats are actually reserved. You can see that a huge 27% chunk is for OBC, 15% for SC, 10% for EWS, and about 7.5% for SD candidates. This is basically the starting point for reservations almost everywhere, whether you're in the All India Quota counseling or your own state's process.
Okay, but the details are what really matter here. For both EWS and OBC non-creamy layer, there's that annual family income cap of less than 8 lakh rupees. But, and this is super important for OBC, there's a big difference. To get the benefit on a national, all India level, your caste has to be on the central list. If it's only on your state's list, you can still get the benefit, but just within that one state's counseling.
Now, let's move on, because this is where it gets really juicy. Beyond those big 4 reservations, there's a whole set of lesser-known quotas that can be absolute game changers. These can be your ticket to fantastic private colleges with fees that are surprisingly low.
Now this is where things get really fascinating. Institutions run by minority communities often have quotas that open up incredible doors. I mean, we're talking about top-tier colleges like CMC Vellore, where Christian minority students can study for as little as 5,000 rupees a year. Why? Because the college is heavily subsidized. For Sikh and Jain minorities, you can get a seat with a score that just wouldn't be competitive in the general category. If you belong to any of these communities, you have to look into this.
Next up, let's talk about one of the most powerful and honestly underutilized quotas out there, the ESIC quota. This is for the kids of people who are insured under the Employees State Insurance Corporation, and it's not a small thing. There are 20 ESIC medical colleges across India with over 1,800 MBBS seats in this program.
And here's the proof of just how powerful it is. Look at this. A general category student might need a pretty high rank, say around 27,000, for a government seat. But with the ESIC quota, that same student could get a seat with a rank of 55,000. Your chances basically double. That is a massive, massive leap.
But hold on, because the advantage gets even more mind-blowing for reserved categories. An SC candidate can get a seat with a rank of around 2.2 lakhs. And for an ST candidate, get this is incredible, it's possible to get into a government medical college with an All India rank of up to 6 lakh. That's not just an advantage, it's a completely different ballgame. Now here's another powerful option that people often misunderstand, the NRI quota. And listen up, because this is important. It's not just for the children of NRIs. If you have a blood relative, like an aunt, uncle, or even a first cousin who's an NRI, you might be eligible. This can get you into government colleges in states like Punjab and Rajasthan, and top-notch universities like KMC Manipal, even with a lower score.
Okay, let's zoom in even further. We've been talking about the national level, but some of the real hidden gems are buried in your own state's rules. You absolutely have to dig into these if you have that state's domicile.
The PwBD quote is one of the biggest advantages you can have. For candidates with a verified disability certificate who are otherwise eligible, the bar is often just to qualify the NEET exam. Seriously, if you meet these criteria, your chance of getting a government seat isn't just high. In many states, it's pretty much a sure thing. Seriously, take a good look at this list right now. Does any of this apply to you or your family? A background in defense? A freedom fighter in the family tree? Or are you maybe a single girl child in Himachal or Uttarakhand? Every single one of these hyper-specific quotas, like for sports in Punjab or orphans in Maharashtra, could be your personal key to admission.
So all this might sound a bit theoretical, right? Let's bring it down to earth and see what this actually looks like in the real world. These categories pop up in the official seat matrix documents that each state's counseling authority publishes. Let's check out a couple of examples.
Take Maharashtra, for instance. Wow, their system is incredibly detailed. You've got unique state categories like VJ for Vimukta Jati, which are denotified tribes, and then 3 separate categories for other nomadic tribes. Even the defense quota is broken down into 3 smaller subcategories. This just shows you how deep you need to dig in your research.
Then you jump over to Punjab seat matrix, and you find a completely different set of niche opportunities. I mean, on top of the usual stuff, they have specific reservations for people who live in border areas, those affected by riots or terrorism, and even a special quota just for sportspersons.
And this kind of variation is everywhere. In Haryana, you'll find a unique SC-deprived category that offers benefits a lot like the national ST category. Meanwhile, Bihar has a specific quota just for girls, called RSEG. You see, every state has its own unique rulebook that you need to figure out. So, you see, it all comes back to what we said at the very beginning. The whole counseling process just proves this point over and over again. It is not just about the number on your scorecard. It's about understanding the entire system of opportunities that's laid out in front of you.
So, what's the big takeaway here? You have to do the homework. You need to become a detective. Go to your state's medical counseling authority website and find the latest seat matrix or prospectus. Dig into your family's history, their profession, your background, because somewhere in that complicated web of quotas, there just might be a hidden advantage waiting specifically for you. The real question is, will you find it?